Hello and welcome back to Represent NYC on the Manhattan Neighborhood Network. My name is Victoria Bert. New York and New Yorkers went on pause in mid-March, and besides hand sanitizer and toilet paper, there was another thing that was in high demand, and it was reported that there was a surge in pet adoptions in mid-March, and specifically dogs. By mid-July, the demand for dogs had skyrocketed. And to talk to me about that right now is Alexa Silver. She's with the Animal Care Center of New York City. And it's Alex Silver, right?
Yeah.
Nice to see you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
First and foremost, talk to me about this concept of the supply and demand that's going on in New York City.
People are eager for companionship, which I think makes perfect sense given the circumstances that we're in. It's not true, however, that there are no animals available for adoption.
Okay.
There are plenty of dogs and cats and rabbits and sometimes we have guinea pigs available for adoption at ACC at any given time.
There are people that still prefer to go to breeders. What would you say is the benefit to adopting as opposed to going to a breeder?
But one of the benefits is the health benefits. You know, a lot of breeds have some serious health concerns depending on the animal you're looking at. So when you're getting an animal that's kind of, a mutt, then you might be getting actually an animal with less concerns. Sometimes people think there must be something wrong with an animal if they're at the shelter. You know, I want to go to a breeder to get like a new animal, a brand new animal with no background, no baggage. They're not at the shelter through any fault of their own. Housing is a big reason that animals come to the shelter. Somebody develops severe allergies and they can't keep their pet anymore. There's nothing inherently wrong with animals. I know some people might want to go to a breeder. They think, I need, a young animal, a puppy to bond with. You can bond with an animal from the shelter. You can totally bond with an adult animal. So I just encourage people to kind of open their mind up a little bit about maybe any preconceptions that they might have. There are tens of thousands of homeless animals in New York City alone. And you know, we were so heartened at ACC when the community stepped up to foster these animals, to take them in, and we would just love for that spirit to continue.
Question, difference between fostering and adoption. So does fostering just mean you just are a caretaker, just like, the foster care system, it's just you're a caretaker for a certain period of time? And does that lead to adoption?
Yeah, no, great question. Fostering is exactly what you said. It's temporarily caring for an animal as opposed to making that lifetime commitment. If you foster at ACC, it's very flexible. So we have some fosters who maybe take an animal for 2 weeks, some take them for a month or longer. What's different too from adopting is that we are going to be providing you with supplies that you need. Because the animal is still in the custody of ACC, all the veterinary services will be provided by ACC for foster animals. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful program. So that, some people might be concerned, well, I'm going back to work soon, I can't have a pet. Consider fostering, because again, it's temporary.
What was happening during when New York was on pause with, say, for example, your organization? Were you still working, but you weren't able to actually process adoptions?
Our operations have continued. They've been altered. We had to, of course, take into account social distancing. But, adoptions have been continuing. And, as we've talked about, the demand is great. So we're glad that we're able to keep helping people find pets. So in the past, people would come in, they'd be able to browse animals. You could just walk around our care centers any day and see all the animals available for adoption. Now we encourage people to look online or on our app. So instead of people just popping by, we'll schedule something and do the counseling virtually as well.
What should people have ready when they're looking to adopt a dog as far as an application goes?
That is a great question. We do require that adopters are 18, that they have photo ID, proof of residence, and again, bring any questions, because we love having conversations and finding the right match for you.
Is there any concern that people during this pandemic have really gotten their needs met by getting a companion, getting a pet, and then when we sort of return to a new normal, as it were, that they will find themselves overwhelmed with the responsibility of not working from home and having an animal? Is there any concern there? Are you able to sort of like protect the animals from maybe possibly having to be rehomed again?
When we're doing our adoption counseling, all these issues come up because we're going to be talking to people about their lifestyle and recognizing that the current situation is unique. I think what we're more concerned about is what's going to happen in terms of the housing and financial situation in New York, because
Right.
the evictions have been pushed off and off, but so many of the animals that we get at ACC come to us because people are moving somewhere that doesn't allow pets. They can't afford to take care of their pet anymore. So it's not even so much necessarily just these recent adoptions, but just pet owners in general in New York, just like with everything else that they're worried about, how they're going to pay for and everything. It's going to be a concern. We have a whole lot of programs to help people keep their pets. So I don't want people to think like, oh, you have to surrender your animal. So much of what we do at ACC is trying to help people keep their animals, whether it's providing free pet food or free vaccines in the Bronx and Queens. We do clinics. Maybe we can connect you with low-cost vet care. Housing, we do tenant advocacy. We connect you with someone who can do tenant advocacy, so hopefully you don't have to surrender your pet. So there's a lot that we can do, but we are a little nervous and bracing for an influx of animals because of the effects of the pandemic.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.